Welcome to Chapter 5, Section 511. We're going to be talking about how can we solve some strategies for solving equations. So looking at it graphically, we're given the graph that y equals the quantity of x plus 3 squared minus 5. Now we're going to use that graph to solve when we get equal to 4. So what we're being told is that y equals 4. So when y equals 4, so looking at the parabola, we're going to look when we get to y equals 4. Right there and right there. So our values for x are x equals -6 and x equals 0. Those would be our solutions, because what we just found, y equals 4 is a horizontal line. We just found out where these two graphs intersect. And we can verify this by substituting back in. So -6 plus 3 squared minus 5, and we should get it equal to 4. -6 plus 3 is -3 squared minus 5 equals 4. -3 squared is 9 minus 5. So you get 4 equals 4, which is a true statement. And then 0 plus 3 squared minus 5 equals 4. So we get 3 squared minus 5 equals 4. 9 minus 5 equals 4. 4 equals 4. That is also a valid solution. So there's our two solutions, -6 and 0. So we could solve that, actually, graphically. Now, we don't usually do that. That's a lot of work. Let's solve it algebraically. So here's a little review. We've done these before, and we're going to build on this for later sections. So for number 2, what we can do is isolate. Add 5 to both sides. So we get the quantity of x plus 3 squared equals 9. Now take the square root of both sides. X plus 3 equals, don't forget, two solutions, plus or minus. The square root of 9 is 3. And then to isolate, we subtract 3 from both sides. So x equals -3 plus or minus 3. Now we can do better than this because 3 is a nice real number we can add. So x equals -3 plus 3 and x equals -3 minus 3. So x equals 0 and x equals -6. And those are the two solutions we had just found. That's how we could solve that same equation algebraically. Number 3, as we did in the last chapter, we can clear out the fractions by multiplying by the LCD. And that common denominator of 4, 3, and 6 is 12. So we're going to multiply each term by 12. I'm going to write it out. 12, the quantity of x minus 5 over 4, plus 12 times 1 over 3 equals 12 times 5 over 6. That'll help us see that we simplify before we multiply. See the 12 on top, 4 on the bottom? They're divisible by 4. The 4 becomes a 1, 12 becomes a 3. So we're left with 3 times x minus 5 plus 12 on top, 3 on the bottom, 3 becomes a 1, 12 becomes a 4, so it's plus 4, equals 12 and 6 are both divisible by 6. The 12 becomes a 2, and the 6 becomes a 1. 2 times 5 is 10. So we clean this up. 6x, we're distributing it 3. We get 3x minus 15 plus 4 equals 10. 3x minus 11 equals 10. Add 11 to both sides. 3x equals 21. Divide both sides by 3, x equals 7, and there is our solution. For problem number 4, absolute value. We're going to isolate those absolute value bars first. So we're going to start by dividing both sides by 4. The absolute value of 8x minus 2 equals 2. Now, to solve, to get rid of the absolute value bars, that could be a 2 in there or a -2. So 8x minus 2 equals positive 2, or 8x minus 2 equals a negative 2. There's our two equations to get rid of the absolute value bars. Add 2 to both sides. 8x equals 4. Divide both sides by 8. X equals 1/2. Add 2 to both sides. 8x equals 0. Divide by 8. X equals 0. There's our two solutions. And for problem number 5, subtract 9 from both sides. 3 square root 4x minus 8 equals 6. Still want to isolate that square root, divide both sides by 3. The square root of 4x minus 8 equals 2. Now we want to get rid of that square root. And to get rid of that square root, we're going to square both sides because it's going to undo. So we get 4x minus 8 equals 2 squared, which is 4. Add 8 to both sides. 4x equals 12. Divide both sides by 4. X equals 3. And there's our solution. Let's go to the next page. Solving, we got a binomial squared. Don't square the binomial. Add 2 to both sides. X minus 3 squared equals negative 3. Then we take the square root of both sides. X minus 3 equals, solving by square roots are two solutions, plus or minus. And the square root of negative 3 is the square root of negative 1 and the square root of 3. So that's I root 3. Now we add 3 to both sides. X equals 3 plus or minus I root 3. And there's our two solutions. For a problem like number 7, we have to simplify one or both sides. So we're going to multiply those two binomials. We get 2y squared minus 4y minus 3y plus 6. Combine our like terms. We get 2y squared minus 7y plus 6 equals negative 12y plus 18. It's a quadratic. We have to get it equal to 0. Add 12y to both sides. Subtract 18 from both sides. 2y squared plus 5y minus 12 equals 0. So now we need to factor. Multiply the first and last terms, negative 24y squared, positive 5y. Top number is negative, the signs are opposites. To multiply to negative 24 and add to 5, we have a positive 8y and a negative 3y. So that would give us 2y squared plus 8y minus 3y minus 12. Common factors of 2y. Y plus 4. Negative 3. Y plus 4. So we get y plus 4, 2y minus 3. Now that it's factored, set each factor equal to 0. Y plus 4 equals 0. 2y minus 3 equals 0. So y equals negative 4, and y equals, you add 3 and then divide by 2, 3 halves. There's both of your solutions. This is really just a review of us solving equations. We've done this before, just a review of a lot of the different solvings that we've done. Problem number 8. Get rid of the fractions, multiply everything by the LCD, which in this case is 3x. 3x once, twice, 3 times, all 3 terms. So what happens is the 3x on top, x on the bottom, the x's cancel. It's just 3 times 5, which is 15. 3x on top, 3x on the bottom, they cancel. Plus 1 equals 3 on top, 3 on the bottom, they cancel out. We're left with 4x squared. So 16 equals 4x squared. Divide both sides by 4. 4 equals x squared. Square root of both sides, x equals, don't forget two solutions, plus or minus, and the square root of 4 is 2. Won't cause division by 0 for either one of them. We're good. For number 9, absolute value of a number equal -6. Whenever we take the absolute value of a number, so if we tried to get a 6 in there, the absolute value of +6 is 6. If we had a -6 in there, the absolute value of -6 is also 6. We can't have an absolute value equal a negative number, so there's no solution here. We can't solve it. There's no solution. Number 10. I don't feel like dealing with fractions, so I'm going to multiply everything by the LCD, which in this case is 15. So I'm going to multiply every term, all three of them. 15 once, twice, 3 times. So the 15 on top and the 5 on the bottom, the 5 becomes a 1, 15 becomes a 3. So it's 3 times 6w minus 1 minus 3w times 15 equals, and now the 15s cancel, 12w minus 16. Distribute the 3, 18w minus 3 minus 45w equals 12w minus 16. Combine on the left-hand side, negative 27w minus 3 equals 12w minus 16. I'm going to add 27w to both sides. I'm going to then add 16 to both sides. So I get 13 equals 39w. Divide both sides by 39. W equals 1/3. There's your solution. And now for the last one. Be careful when you square the x plus 2. You're going to get x plus 2 times x plus 2, which is x squared, plus 2x plus 2x plus 4, which is x squared plus 4x plus 4. Plus, distribute the 4. 4x plus 8 minus 5 equals 0. So we have x squared plus 8x plus 7 equals 0. We can factor this. The numbers that multiply to +7 and add to 8 are a +7 and a +1. So x plus 7 equals 0, x plus 1 equals 0, x equals -7, x equals -1. And there's our two solutions. And that is a review of solving equations. Okay, thank you for your time. I will see you in the next lesson.